Have you ever thought that an incomplete sentence from an elderly person could cause the elderly person you love to lose the chance of being cured? In the tense atmosphere of the clinic, a 67-year-old woman sat next to the elderly person she cared for, her eyes filled with love but also fear. Wanting to protect that person from the scary truth, she told a rambling story, avoiding witnessing the symptoms. This action made it impossible for the doctor to understand the problem, and he decided to ask the right questions right away. She was shocked to learn that her dream could have serious consequences. Her love inadvertently became a barrier. If you were that grandmother, what would you do to ensure that the health of the elderly person you love is put first? Before we begin, I would appreciate it. If you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Downplaying or minimizing symptoms. Imagine sitting in a doctor's office, your heart racing as you try to convince yourself that the nagging pain you've felt for weeks is no big deal. You tell the doctor, it's just a little discomfort, and brush it off with a smile. But deep down, you wonder, what if it's more than that? Downplaying symptoms is a trap too many older adults fall into, and it's not just a small mistake, it could change the course of your health and your life. When you minimize your symptoms, you're not just being polite or saving time, you're unintentionally hiding pieces of a puzzle that your doctor needs to solve. For many seniors, this habit stems from a lifetime of resilience, of putting others first, or fearing they'll seem like a burden. Perhaps you grew up in an era where toughing it out was a badge of honor, or maybe you worry about being labeled a complainer. But here's the truth. Every ache, every sleepless night, every moment of fatigue is a signal from your body, and dismissing it could mean missing a chance to catch something early, when it's most treatable. Consider this, a minor ache could be the first whisper of arthritis, a digestive issue, or even something as serious as heart trouble. Doctors aren't mind readers. They rely on your words to guide their expertise. When you say, it's nothing serious, you're not giving them the full picture, and an incomplete picture can lead to delayed diagnoses, prolonged suffering, or worse. I've seen this play out too many times. Friends and family who shrugged off symptoms, only to face bigger problems down the road because they didn't speak up. Let me tell you about Helen, a vibrant 78-year-old who loved her morning walks and baking for her grandkids. For weeks, she felt a tightness in her chest, like a heavy weight pressing down. She told herself it was just age catching up with her, or maybe stress from planning a family reunion. At her routine checkup, she almost didn't mention it. It's probably nothing, she said casually to her doctor, waving her hand. But something in her tone caught the doctor's attention. He pressed for details. How often, how intense, when it started. That one moment of honesty led to tests that revealed a heart condition requiring immediate treatment. Helen later confided, tears in her eyes, "If I hadn't said anything, I might not be here to see my grandkids grow up." That was her wake-up call, and it's one we all need to hear. I know it's hard to be vulnerable, especially when you've spent decades being the strong one, caring for family, pushing through pain, or simply not wanting to make a fuss. But your health isn't a burden. It's a priority. When you downplay symptoms, you're not just risking your well-being. You're risking the moments that matter most. Time with loved ones, the energy to enjoy your hobbies, the independence you've worked so hard to maintain. So, speak up. If the pain lasts 3 weeks, say 3 weeks. If it wakes you up at night, tell them how often. If it's stopping you from gardening or playing with your grandkids, be honest. You're not complaining. You're giving your doctor the tools to keep you thriving. The next time you're tempted to say, "It's not a big deal," pause. Picture Helen, alive and laughing with her family because she chose honesty over hesitation. Your doctor's office is your space to be heard. Take control of your health by describing your symptoms exactly as they are. No sugarcoating, no minimizing. It's not about seeking sympathy. It's about giving your doctor the clarity they need to help you live your fullest life. You deserve that, and so do the people who love you. Number 2, talking in vague or unclear terms. You're sitting in the doctor's office, the clock ticking, and suddenly you realize you forgot to mention that nagging dizziness or the sleep trouble that's been plaguing you. You drive home, frustrated, still carrying the same worries you walked in with. Not bringing a written list of concerns to a doctor's visit is like walking into a grocery store without a shopping list. You'll leave without something vital, and it's not just food you're missing. It's your chance to take control of your health. Forgetting to mention key concerns during a medical visit is one of the most common mistakes older adults make, and it's entirely preventable. You might think, I'll remember everything when I'm there. But the reality is, doctor's appointments can be overwhelming. The doctor asks questions, you focus on one issue, and before you know it, the visit is over, and half your concerns are still unspoken. This isn't about memory lapses. It happens to everyone. The exam room's pressure, the time crunch, or even nerves can derail your focus. Without a written list, you're leaving your health to chance. Doctors aren't psychic. They can only address what you bring to their attention. If you forget to mention a symptom, like dizziness, trouble sleeping, or a new pain, it might be the missing clue to a bigger issue. For older adults, this is especially critical. Aging can bring multiple health changes, and what seems like a small issue could be tied to something larger, like medication side effects or an underlying condition. I've seen friends leave appointments, kicking themselves for forgetting to mention something that later turned out to be significant. A written list ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 76-year-old who prided herself on her independence. She went to her doctor to discuss her blood pressure medication, but she'd also been struggling with dizziness and sleepless nights. In the rush of the appointment, she focused only on the medication. She left feeling relieved, until she got home and realized she hadn't mentioned the dizziness. Weeks later, it worsened, sending her to the emergency room. Tests showed it was linked to her blood pressure control, something her doctor could have adjusted earlier if she'd brought it up. Sitting in her living room, Margaret shook her head and said, "I thought I could keep it all in my head, but I let myself down." That moment of clarity changed how she approached every visit after, and it's a lesson we can all learn from. I know how easy it is to think you'll remember everything, especially when you're juggling multiple health concerns or feeling the pressure of a short appointment. Maybe you don't want to seem disorganized or feel like you're taking up too much time. But your doctor's visit is your time, and a written list is your tool to make it count. Before your next appointment, sit down with a pen and paper. Write down every concern, big or small. Number them by priority. Include symptoms, questions about medications, or even worries about future health risks. Hand that list to your doctor or keep it in front of you to stay on track. This simple act puts you in the driver's seat. Even if you can't cover everything in one visit, your doctor will know what's on your mind and can prioritize or schedule follow-ups. Picture Margaret, now confidently managing her health because she never leaves home without her list. You deserve that same peace of mind. A list isn't just paper, it's a commitment to your well-being, ensuring every question, every symptom, every worry gets the attention it deserves. Don't let another appointment pass with unspoken concerns. Write it down, speak it out, and take charge of your health. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 3. Not bringing a written list of concerns. You're sitting in the doctor's office, the clock ticking, and suddenly you realize you forgot to mention that nagging dizziness or the sleep trouble that's been plaguing you. You drive home, frustrated, still carrying the same worries you walked in with. Not bringing a written list of concerns to a doctor's visit is like walking into a grocery store without a shopping list. You'll leave without something vital, and it's not just food you're missing. It's your chance to take control of your health. Forgetting to mention key concerns during a medical visit is one of the most common mistakes older adults make, and it's entirely preventable. You might think, I'll remember everything when I'm there. But the reality is, doctor's appointments can be overwhelming. The doctor asks questions, you focus on one issue, and before you know it, the visit is over, and half your concerns are still unspoken. This isn't about memory lapses. It happens to everyone. The exam room's pressure, the time crunch, or even nerves can derail your focus. Without a written list, you're leaving your health to chance. Doctors aren't psychic. They can only address what you bring to their attention. If you forget to mention a symptom, like dizziness, trouble sleeping, or a new pain, it might be the missing clue to a bigger issue. For older adults, this is especially critical. Aging can bring multiple health changes, and what seems like a small issue could be tied to something larger, like medication side effects or an underlying condition. I've seen friends leave appointments, kicking themselves for forgetting to mention something that later turned out to be significant. A written list ensures nothing slips through the cracks. Number 4. Assuming the doctor remembers everything about you. There's a quiet assumption many older patients carry into the doctor's office. They've known me for years. They must remember everything about my health. It's a natural thought, born from trust and familiarity. But this habit can erode the quality of your care, leaving gaps that could have been filled with a few simple words. The lesson here is raw and vital. Your doctor, no matter how skilled or caring, is human. They juggle dozens of patients daily, and expecting them to recall every detail of your medical history is like expecting a librarian to recite every book in the stacks. To get the care you deserve, you must take charge of your story. Doctors see countless patients, each with their own complex histories. They might remember the broad strokes, your diabetes diagnosis or that knee surgery years ago, but the specifics? That new medication you started, the flare-up you had last month, or the supplement you added on a whim. Those details often fade in the blur of a busy practice. When you assume they're all top of mind, you risk skipping critical updates, and those omissions can lead to misdiagnoses, delayed treatments, or missed connections. The stakes are high, and the lesson is clear. You are the keeper of your health's narrative. Take Walter, a friend whose story still stings. At 72, he visited his longtime doctor for joint pain, assuming she'd recall his history of gout. He didn't mention the blood pressure medication he'd started a month earlier, thinking it was already in his chart. The doctor, swamped with patients, didn't connect the dots. Weeks of tests followed, each one a frustrating dead end, until someone finally asked about new medications. That one detail unlocked the mystery. The new pill was triggering his symptoms. If Walter had spoken up, he could have saved time, money, and pain. His story is a wake-up call. Don't let assumptions derail your care. Medical records, while helpful, aren't a complete safety net. They might note your last visit's blood pressure or a past surgery, but they don't capture the full context of your life, new symptoms, lifestyle changes, or even how you've been feeling emotionally. Plus, charts can be unwieldy. A doctor might not have time to skim through years of notes before your 15-minute slot. By providing a quick, clear update at the start of each visit, you bridge that gap. Something as simple as, "Since last time, I've had these headaches and started a new vitamin," can steer the conversation toward answers. Empathy runs deep in this lesson. It's easy to feel invisible in a rushed healthcare system, especially as an older adult. You might think, they should know me by now, or feel hesitant to bother the doctor with details. But your health isn't a burden, it's the reason you're there. Sharing updates isn't just about informing your doctor. It's about honoring your own experience. You've lived through every ache, every change, every sleepless night. Those details matter, and voicing them is an act of courage. The climax comes when you realize your voice can shift the entire visit. Picture this. You walk in, take a deep breath, and say, "Here's what's new since last time." You list your updates, new symptoms, a medication change, a question about your diet. The doctor's eyes light up. They lean in, now armed with the context they need. The appointment transforms from a rushed checklist into a true partnership. That moment, when you see your words spark understanding, is electric. It's not just about better care, it's about being seen, heard, and valued. To make this habit real, try this. Before every appointment, jot down a 1-minute update. Include new medications, supplements, symptoms, or lifestyle changes, like a new exercise routine or stress. Practice saying it concisely. "Since my last visit, I started X, stopped Y, and noticed Z." If you're nervous, bring a note to read from. This small step ensures your doctor has the full picture, turning a routine visit into a chance for real progress. Your health is a partnership. Don't let assumptions silence your role in it. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 5. Talking too much without letting the doctor guide. The exam room can feel like a stage where you've got one shot to tell your story. For many older patients, the urge to share every detail, every ache, every worry, every tangent, comes from a deep desire to be thorough. But this habit, while well-meaning, can drown out the doctor's ability to guide the visit, eating up precious time and derailing focus. The lesson here is powerful. Less isn't always more, but focused communication is. By letting your doctor steer the conversation, you create space for clarity, answers, and care that hits the mark. Appointments are short, sometimes just 10 or 15 minutes. In that window, doctors are trained to ask targeted questions, prioritize urgent issues, and build a plan. When patients flood the room with a stream of details, stories about past illnesses, unrelated symptoms, or even the weather, it's like trying to navigate a ship through a storm of scattered debris. The destination, your health, gets lost in the chaos. This isn't about silencing your voice. It's about channeling it so the doctor can do their best work. The goal is collaboration, not a monologue. I think of Mary, a 77-year-old friend whose story breaks my heart. She went to her doctor about knee pain that was stealing her mobility. But in her eagerness to explain, she spent half the appointment talking about her cousin's hip surgery, her garden, and last month's rain. By the time she got to her knee, the doctor was glancing at the clock, and the exam felt rushed. Mary left with a vague prescription and no real plan, feeling unheard, not because the doctor didn't care, but because the conversation veered off course. Her story is a reminder. Good intentions can backfire if they overwhelm the moment. Empathy is at the heart of this lesson. As an older adult, you've lived through decades of health experiences, and every concern feels urgent. The fear of missing something important can push you to overshare. You might worry that if you don't say everything now, you won't get another chance. But doctors aren't dismissing you when they redirect. They're trying to focus on what matters most in the time they have. By working with their process, you're not giving up control. You're amplifying your impact. The climax of this lesson is a moment of connection. Imagine this. You walk into the appointment with a short, written list of your top concerns. You start with, "I'm here about my knee pain. It's sharp when I stand." The doctor nods, asks follow-up questions, and the conversation flows like a dance. You answer, they guide with precision, and by the end, you have a plan. A test, a referral, a medication adjustment. That moment, when you feel understood and empowered, is what focused communication unlocks. It's not just a visit, it's a victory. To build this habit, try these steps. First, write down your top 3 concerns before the visit. Keep it simple, like knee pain, fatigue, question about my meds. Hand the list to your doctor or read it at the start. Then, pause and let them lead with questions. If you're tempted to ramble, take a breath and refocus on the main issue. For example, say, "My knee hurts when I walk," then wait for their follow-up. If you have extra details, save them for when they ask, "Anything else?" This approach respects their expertise while ensuring your concerns are heard. The deeper lesson is about trust. Trust in your doctor's process and trust in your voice. By speaking concisely and letting them guide, you're not diminishing your role. You're strengthening the partnership. Your words are powerful, but their impact grows when they're clear, focused, and timed right. The next time you're in that exam room, see it as a conversation, not a performance. Together, you and your doctor can build a path to better health, one focused word at a time. The doctor's office is more than a place for tests and prescriptions. It's a crucible where your words shape your care. For older adults, every visit carries weight, as health concerns grow heavier and time feels more precious. The habits we've discussed, not bringing a written list, assuming the doctor remembers everything, and talking too much without letting them guide, aren't just mistakes. They're missed opportunities to build a stronger partnership. The lesson is profound. Your voice is your greatest tool, and using it with intention can transform your health journey. These habits stem from understandable places: trust, fear, or the desire to be thorough. But they can create barriers, leaving you feeling unheard or uncertain. The climax of this journey is the moment you realize you hold the power to change that. Picture yourself walking into your next appointment, a short list in hand, ready to give a clear update and let the doctor guide. You speak with confidence, not overwhelm, and leave with answers, not regrets. That moment of clarity and connection is what these lessons build toward, a partnership where you're not just a patient, but a collaborator. Empathy runs through every step. It's hard to feel vulnerable in a sterile office, to wonder if your concerns matter, or to navigate a system that often feels rushed. But every small adjustment, writing a list, giving a quick update, or pausing to let the doctor lead, is an act of self-respect. You're saying, "My health is worth this effort." And when you see your doctor respond, when you feel truly heard, it's a reminder that you're not alone in this. Your words build a bridge to better care, and every step across it is a step toward hope. To make these changes real, start small. Before your next visit, write down your top concerns and a brief update. Practice saying them aloud to feel confident. In the appointment, share your list, then listen and respond to your doctor's questions. If you feel rushed, politely say, "I want to make sure we cover this one issue." These habits don't require you to be perfect, just intentional. Over time, they'll become second nature, turning stressful visits into moments of empowerment. The deeper truth is this: your health is a story, and you're its author. Every appointment is a chapter, and how you communicate shapes the plot. By preparing, speaking clearly, and working with your doctor's flow, you write a story of clarity, trust, and progress. I've seen seniors transform their experiences by embracing these habits, leaving appointments not just with prescriptions, but with peace of mind. You deserve that too. So, the next time you step into that exam room, bring your list, your voice, and your courage. You're not just a patient, you're a partner, and your story is worth telling well. In the journey of healthcare, our words, especially those of mothers and grandmothers over 60, can be a bridge to understanding or unintentionally cause unintended consequences. The deep love for the seniors they care for can lead them to minimize, obscure, or hide the truth, sometimes preventing doctors from making an accurate diagnosis. These stories remind us that clear and honest communication is key to protecting the health of our loved ones. What have you learned from these stories? Leave a comment below and share one thing you will apply to your life to communicate more effectively in the clinic. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.